King Trump and President Musk are killing veterans, and veterans are not going to stand for this anymore. We are marshaling all over the country on the 14th of this month at noon. I don't know where that doggone. It's on this side, hanging out over there. We're marshaling on the 14th at noon and marching all over the country to say one simple thing. Veterans will not stand for this any longer. We believe that an unelected leader is killing our fellow veterans, and something must be done. All over our country, people are standing up, making noise in the streets, and stating, we cannot go on as usual. I know that you wake up in the morning, many of you, my fellow Americans, and particularly my fellow veterans, and you say, something is terribly wrong up at the level of our so-called commander-in-chief. We cannot take illegal orders, and we are sworn to defend our country against domestic enemies. Domestic enemies are breaking our government.
Hey sir, can I ask you a question real quick? Are you locked into that thing, or is it just you just holding on to it?
Oh, you can't get me in. No, I'm locked in. Sure.
Okay. Yeah. Well, what do you you mind if I ask what you're using to lock it in?
I'm using hardware clamps purchased at the hardware store, okay. And got about a 3/8" bolt in here.
Can you personally can you get yourself out if you need to, or no?
I hope so, man. I'm not sure the doggone clip stuff.
So you just say it's some stuff you got from the hardware store?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, all right, have a good day.
Yeah. Thanks for what you guys do.
Appreciate
it. Hey, and if any of you folks over there are veterans, we are here standing up for you. The Veterans Administration is being trashed by, by President Musk and King Trump, and we're opposed to that. Thanks a lot here for being here, man. You guys keep us safe.
Have a good day, Philly.
We're not going to stand for what Trump and Musk are doing to the Veterans Administration. If you see this video, if you can hear my voice, if you know anyone who is a veteran, put it out on social media that veterans are starting to stand up. This lockdown will go on until, I don't know, until they break me loose. They are closing down the leases on veterans' hospitals. They are slashing support for veterans at the VA by 50%. They have already laid off close to 100,000, according to reports, staff all over the country. You cannot take care of people who are in serious medical difficulty, psychological difficulty, by putting them out on the street. That is where we're going, and it is intolerable. Oh, I'm going to pee down my leg. Want to take the cap off? Yeah, just take it, just put it in my mouth. Let me have a sip. I don't need much. If you just ask me that every 15 minutes. Huh?
Okay, ready? There it goes. Tell me when to stop. Done? All right. Put it back.
Please, thank you. Yeah, just wet my whistle.
All right.
I can't keep rapping all day, so
You're pretty good at it.
As I told a couple of my friends, my vet and Quaker Men's Group friends down in Charlottesville, I said, of course, this event will be covered by the Times of London. And I believe that they've got reporters on planes coming right now.
Yeah, right.
But it would be nice if a military veteran talk to them about their service and tell them they must stand up to protect America right now from the devastations of King Trump and President Musk. Put this on your social media. Be an activist, please.
Save the VA.
Hi, how are you?
Hey guys, thanks. Park Police.
Are you with like a certain group or anything?
Yes, I am. I'm with United States military veterans who have been trained to fight and protect our country. And odds are odds are very strong. I'm looking at two guys, but if you are not veterans, odds are the guys you drink beer with or coffee or green tea are veterans. Because so many guys come out of service, you're well trained, and you go into the police forces. I want to thank you for what you do.
Appreciate it. What are your intentions other than obviously what you're doing now?
My plan actually is to live here until I die. I do have a little bit of water.
I meant today, like with the...
Yeah, our plan is hoping that larger media will come here and be aware. You guys probably already have a prep bulletin board at your ops center, but you know that veterans are going to be marching like crazy on Friday, right, at noon. So what we're doing is we are alerting veterans around the country because it's going to be going on around the country. We are the largest single, let's call it interest group in the country, and they're slashing our budget by 50%. What do? You take these WIAs and people who are suffering from burn pit poison and just say, you're back on the street.
How long do you plan on staying here, out of curiosity?
As long as I can. I might figure out how to. I don't know why this doggone bike is here. It was here yesterday.
Are you like fastened? Like
Yeah, I'm
chain or
locked in.
something?
This is called a
Is
lock.
it like actually locked?
You can't come out. Can't come out. But you guys could go get a saw and cut me out. I'd love you to do it.
Yeah, we're not going to do that. Yeah. All right, appreciate it.
Thanks for what you guys are doing.
Wow, he literally laughed at the idea of cutting you out.
I'm surprised you invited him to do that.
No, well, that would be an action that Andrew could really zero in on.
I've filmed it happen to several different activists.
Have you
different
seen them
types
cut
of
out
activists.
lock boxes?
Yeah.
How did
I've
they
seen
do it?
people do it with the steel ones. That was like gut wrenching to see them.
Well, look, I had a steel one, and the darn thing weighed 25 pounds, and was going to be super heavy, but
You mean you were thinking of using a steel one?
I had one under prep, and people said, my good friends, I've sought counsel from veterans, and particularly my life management supervisor. Some people would call her my spouse, but in any case, they said, to come with a big metal object like that could be construed as a bomb, and you could get shot before anybody asks you questions. I don't want to get shot. Never did get shot. Praise Jesus.
I've seen some people in the comments dismissive of the idea that Trump is actually cutting veterans benefits or cutting the VA. What would you kind of say to someone who supports Trump and is just not convinced that the VA is actually under threat?
I know what I read in the newspapers. I know what I watch on Democracy Now!, which covers things in detail. If you know a United States military veteran, talk to them about the Veterans Administration being shut down. President Musk is killing veterans. Put this on social media. Be an activist yourself. Enjoy Washington.
Well, good morning.
Morning.
How are you, sir?
Good morning, Officer
Hey,
Porter. Thanks
how
for
are
being
you?
here. Wish
Thank you.
we could shake hands.
Well, it's all right. I can still shake your hand if you want.
Can't get things out.
I mean, you have the ability to take it out because you got it in.
True. And I've been told that the Times of London is coming. They've got a journalist on board. He's coming as quick as he can into IAD. When the Times of London gets here to cover this, might get some assistance.
Times of London.
I'm being foolish. Listen, what we're trying to do is use the force multiplier called the Fourth Estate, the media, to point out to the country that veterans will no longer take this, and that veterans are getting ready to march all over the country on day on Friday. You folks know about that. And if you folks are former military, you understand what I'm doing. If you folks have any kin who've ever been a veteran, you understand what I'm doing. He was asking, what do you say to people who just don't believe that King Trump and President Musk are wanting to cut eventually the Veterans Administration by 50%. I say, pay attention to what's going on out there in public and watch more media. Don't just watch that cruddy MSNBC. Don't just watch that crazy Fox News. They are speaking from positions of opinion. Inform yourself. Go down to the local veterans clinic and ask what they are talking about there. So I think that would be my answer. I promise you, people at veterans clinics can tell you.
How long do you plan on being here?
I'm going to be here as long as I can handle it. I got 2 legs. I got something to lean against. Might climb on the bike and, sit a little while. Do you know whose bike this is? I can't figure out. It's been here overnight. Huh?
So I wouldn't sit on there if it wasn't yours.
No. Yeah, there you go. I'm not going to do that. I just am here to be in the spiritual arc of the residents of that house. And, hope that they are going to come to their senses, do the right thing. Promises made to veterans are promises being violated now. If you know a veteran, call them and ask them how they feel about the VA being closed down by 50%. 1971.
Good morning, or afternoon. What time is it? Good morning.
How you doing, Sergeant? Are you Officer Rock?
Yes. How are you holding up?
Hey, tell me this. Did you ever see military service?
What's that?
Did you see military service yourself?
Oh, no, sir. No.
But I bet you got buddies who did. A lot
I
of
did.
times.
I worked down on the border for a few years, so I saw a different kind of service.
Sure.
Right.
I just want to tell you, you guys do things that really build up the country, take care of the country.
I appreciate that. Where did you serve?
I served. I was infantry trained to lead troops in the jungle, but I ended up. Jesus was watching over me. They put me up on the East German border as the counterintelligence chief of 3rd Infantry Division.
Goodness.
And so our job was and I was a 2-man control officer on tactical nukes. Our job was when we got the order down the chain to blow the TAC nuke mines at the Fulda Gap. The Fulda Gap was a serious gap right along the East German border that those 11 Russian and East German divisions were going to roll into Western Europe. And so we were going to blockade so that was one of my...
A mild responsibility.
Yeah.
Huh?
Well, look, it was peanuts compared to what was going on with our brothers and sisters in Vietnam. But the point is, anybody who's a veteran has served the country, right? And this business about cutting the Veterans Administration by 50%, it just can't stand. I mean, I think you've read it in the papers.
I totally sympathize with everything.
Man to man, how can you argue with it? But the real thing, coincidentally, happens is Mark Milley, a former military officer, retired military officer, has said, we veterans do not take oaths to kings. And we've taken an oath to defend and protect our country against all enemies, domestic and foreign. These people who've gotten into power, one could argue they are domestic enemies. They're not doing things to protect the larger interests of these people walking on the street. They may be protecting the interests of some super rich people, but when they start putting veterans on the street, I understand they've canceled the lease on the Virginia Beach, Norfolk, Maine, this should be of concern to you, David, the Maine Norfolk Veterans Hospital. Now, where do the gigantic number of veterans who live in this state, down there, what do? We're going to figure it out. And as Jim says back there, we're going to put them in, we're privatizing those hospitals. Listen, we can't stand for this.
I totally understand.
Anyway,
Mark,
you're
okay. I want to take a look at this.
Yeah, just standard lock marks.
Home Depot.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad it's nothing complicated with goes right down. Okay.
So you're Sergeant,
no car or-
Sergeant Rock, Commander
Oh,
Rock?
God, no, I haven't aspired to that. I'm just an officer. I'm just
So Officer
the
Rock,
Undertaker.
Officer Rock, I did have steel, and I was right at the process of throwing the. I've got buddies who were throwing the drill press to put the bolt in place, and I realized number one, this is going to break my back if I
We've done
stand
the
up.
steel. We've done the quarter-inch, and that stuff is heavy.
Yeah.
Over time, it's heavy.
The only way you're going to come get me out is with a blowtorch. But the
Well,
other
we
thing,
got some saws that can get through it now. Get some diamond cutters.
yeah, you might diamond cut somebody
takes
else
time,
too.
though.
Yeah.
But
Here's the deal. Somebody said, I got a lot of counsel from veterans and close friends, and Quakers and members of my United Church of Christ congregation. I'm a member of the Justice Advocacy Ministry of my church in Charlottesville, and they said, "Look, I'm worried you could get shot." I said, "Oh, come on, I'm not going to get shot." They said, "If you've got a big metal thing that looks like this, that can be construed as a bomb."
we've had a lot of those around here. So.
But I didn't know to call. I didn't know to call Officer Rock and have somebody tell him.
What's your name again?
Richard H. Allan III.
Richard, do you want to take a picture of this? I'm trying to.
Oh, sure.
Every time I see one,
You can see the deal. Yeah.
appreciate it. But you're okay. Just want to make sure you're
Yeah.
okay. I'm gonna be over there with my guy in the white shirt's the boss.
Yeah. If you're thinking structurally, inside I've got bolts and lock washers on both ends. So
I see.
as you
In the zip tie. Okay. Do you need anything over here?
stand.
We're with the guy in charge.
okay, great. And
All right.
look. I've been told that some of you guys are real humane. If you,
We
can
try
slip,
to be.
if you can slip over here with just a little shot of bourbon, I wouldn't mind it. We get behind me and pop it in my mouth.
I'll be over here with the important people. If you need it.
Some
Thanks
serious
a lot, man.
negotiations taking place there.
Shot of bourbon.
I'd love for you to just kind of explain what all happened out here today and how do you foresee it ending?
You know, one of the most wonderful things about the police presence here is so many police personnel have themselves served in the military, been trained in the military, and come out with that continuing desire to serve. And so I've had some wonderful talks with the police who've come over to check in and see what we're doing. They understand what's going on, and a couple of them quietly said, "Yeah, we get it too. We understand." Well, so many of us understand today that something is not right in the state of, not Denmark, but that's an interesting quotation, isn't it? Yeah, something is going on and a lot of pressure is being put on Denmark. Things are problematic in our country, and what we're doing, Jim and I and Andy and Paul and the others who've been standing here, what we're doing is we're saying you cannot treat veterans this way. So my intention had been to be here until I was broken out of here and arrested, and I'm proud to face arrest in the name of my fellow veterans and in the name of my American Legion Post 308 in Eagle Butte, South Dakota, where I work and continue to work with the Cheyenne River and Standing Rock Lakota Red Veterans. It's an honor to be a member of their post. What this means, apparently, because the police have said that they're going home, is in a little while I will go home as well. What is unique is that my small group that planned this action find ourselves totally congruent with a mass action that veterans all over the country will be enacting on the 14th. So, not meaning to be facetious or silly, I've said, well, let's just think about this as an appetizer. Veterans are out here already saying what America needs to know, and that is stand by your veterans. They have stood by you.